name is Karen Olding. Interpersonal Communication, HSCO 508. Due to time constraints, I will be summarizing this paper. Interpersonal communication can be defined as being the process which we use to communicate our individual ideas, thoughts, and feelings to any other person. Interpersonal communication skills are learned behaviors that every individual is able to apply in order to improve upon a relationship. It is possible for these skills to be learned through continuous realization for the need for improvement. Next slide. The illusion of breathing emphasis the impossible to actual practice or separating two processes, exhaling and inhaling. Communications has two very important aspects. One, exhaling message sending by talker. Two, inhaling message reception by listener. Next slide. Communication behavior tends to be directly influenced through the personality of the individual person. That it has a biological base. There are many levels of interpersonal communication, ranging from the direct or close relationships as such with those of family members to the indirect relationships which deal with friends and co-workers. Personal overarching goals. In order to communicate effectively with other individuals in a way which will influence interpersonal relationships to that of a higher level of trust and freedom, to obtain level 1 listening empathic, to master the timing in asking questions. Next. Enlarging conversation definition. With overall understanding of the term, enlarging the conversation can be understood in the sense of keeping the conversation going smoothly with two decisive goals which were described by Peterson. These two critical goals are ownership and openness. Next slide. Behavior blend. Self-assessment tests. These are to consist of personality and spiritual gift assessment, uniquely you, communication skills test, discovery health. Uniquely you incorporated. These consist of how to solve people puzzle, understanding personality patterns. For this personality of temperament types, behavior. D, active task oriented, directing, dominating. I, active, people oriented, inspiring, influencing. S, passive, people oriented, servant, shy, steady. C, passive, task oriented, cautious, compliant. Next slide. More behavior level. Behavior can be defined by Webster as being the manner in which someone behaves in life. Behavior blend itself is a complement of any of the four types of temperaments expressed by every individual. Next slide. My behavior blend was determined by uniquely you profile test as being C and S. Personality type. This test shows a vast, detailed truth about myself, but it is my opinion that I have been able to learn that I have become more like D, personality type, due to my present occupation. With the C personality, caring is my individual gift, not only as a manager, but various divergent situations of my life. As S temperament, I am able to see myself with a new vision and improve goal for the future, which allows me to continue improving myself. Next slide. Behavior blend. These are positive tendencies. D tendency, industrious, hardworking. I tendency, promoting, encouraging, persuading, and convincing. C, S tendencies, gentle, soft, humble, peaceful, calm, generous, content, satisfied, steady, compassionate, tolerant, patient, and polite. C tendency, calculating and it's careful, cautious, perfectionist, precise, compliant thinker. Next slide. Negative dis tendencies. D tendencies, not bold, daring, brave, adventurous, persistent, restless, direct. I tendencies, not outgoing, active, playful, energetic, exciting, clowning, entertaining, and popular. S tendency, not sympathetic, follows plan. C tendencies, not inquisitive and questioning. Next slide. Potential barriers to interpersonal communication, biased listening, communication, social interfering, physical barriers, fatigue, hunger, stress, sickness, sympathetic barrier. The meaning are in people, not words. External distractions, deception, tears, next in resistance. Flat brain syndrome. Flat brain tangle, head, heart, and stomach. Next slide. Potential barriers to interpersonal communication, plan, and solution. Biased listening. Consider level of listening 1, empathetic. Physical barriers. Avoid conversations during stressful moments. Sympathetic barrier. Choose words wisely. Ask clarification. Use ownership and openness. External distractions. Using nexting in conversations to keep it going. Avoid blaming. Use I rational approach. Flat brain syndrome. Clarify. Thinking. Reduce emotional disturbance. Build friendship, increase confidence. Next slide. Noise pollution, defined and identified. Noise pollution is another pattern, type of barrier or distraction or effective interpersonal communication. Communication noise refers to the seam to influences in effective communication that influence the interpersonality of conversation. There are two types of pollution: internal noise pollution, psychological and physiologically. 2. External noise pollution, physical and somatic. External pollution itself is caused by factors such as noise, room temperature, and using unclear language. Next slide. Noise pollution solutions. Inner solutions of noise pollution depend on the talker and listener initiative to identify and break the cycle of noise. Effectiveness listening involves not only tuning in to others, but tuning into ourselves. External solutions to noise pollution are the most of the time preventable or more adjustable when detected at the earliest point. Next slide. Plan of action with overarching goal. Dialogue effectiveness fosters the sense of communication process, which tends to influence psychological processes, which in turn relate to action. Effective interpersonal communication depends upon action and determination from both the listener as well as the talker. Next slide. Plan of action with overarching goals continued. To communicate effectively with other people in a way that influences impersonal communications, higher level of trust and freedom. To obtain level 1 listening skills, empathetic. To master the timing for asking questions. To use the I rational approach instead of you blaming approach, communication. To use wisdom given from God in each conversation with each individual, be they young or old. To be more positive about life by depending on God. To assist me in building relationships with other people through the getting to know them better way. Next slide. Plan of action with overarching goal. In order to communicate in a more effective manner with other people in ways which allow the influence process and interpersonal relationships to reach a higher level of trust and freedom. To obtain level 1 listening skill, empathy. To master the timing for asking better questions. Next. It could be said that when you discover your partner is not committed in what you are saying, it's sure symptom that you should begin anew. use a different path, or pick a better time. The ingredients for success conversations include understanding your communication preference and differences, and then making clear-cut choices about how you will talk and how you will listen. The Bible gives us an excellent verse of scriptures as a way of understanding how to complete this task when it tells us that Jesus looked at them and said, "With man this is impossible, but with God all things are possible." Matthew chapter 19, verse 26. This concludes my presentation. I would like to thank you for taking the time to watch it. Thank you.